I'm gonna try to give you one of my properties, yeah? And then you can get used to like managing the revenue for it. How's that sound?
Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
But-
Let's give it a shot, yeah? You're at Village
Okay.
Antique now, right? Hold on here. Do you want to guide me through how to do this? Pretend you're teaching me how to do revenue management today.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Okay, let me share my screen then.
Fantastic.
Let's see.
Oh, interesting. You're making spreadsheets, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So, where's the first spreadsheet? Okay. So, recently I was just done for Omang Kerjen, but it's actually haven't updated yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is the price list I have.
Okay.
On the period of 15 of, oh sorry, this is September 25 until September 29.
Okay.
I tried to reduce the price for 25% and then still have a weekend publish rate.
Okay.
But I think it's not really working. And then right now I'm trying to set up all the price is flat, the same. It doesn't matter if weekend or not.
Okay.
Because like it's really a low season in Jogja, so probably weekend rate is one really helping a lot.
I see. Okay. Interesting, Dominic. All right. Let's go
Yep.
to, let's see. Oh, what's going on over here? Okay. So that's that. Show me some more.
And then Bejo Homestay cannot do much because the property also run their own OTA, like a lot of other OTA. So all I can do is just giving a discount of 15%
Okay. Got it.
for this period. And on the September 25 until 10,
Mhm.
I already convinced the owner to give 20% of discount, but
Okay.
now they want to charge for 15% first, because when we give 20% discount, the booking just came all the way from everywhere.
Okay, got it. Here, Dominic, let me advise you on this one.
Okay.
This is going to be a big change, and I hope you're okay to it. But you're going to need to change your format, right, for how you actually do the pricing. And this is what I would suggest. So currently, it might be okay. Here's the idea. Whenever you make a price change, what I would advise you to do is to follow this format. So let's say, for example, right now, you want to know whether or not the price change actually made a difference, right? So what you need to do is you need to actually show what was the price before, what was the change, and what's the before and what's the after. If you don't have that every time you make a price change, it'll be impossible to know whether or not the price change made anything better or worse or whatever it might be. So here's my suggestion. So the price table there is good, but what you can do is think about this, right? Think about creating. I'll start this with you from scratch. So you currently work on what was the first property? The name of the first property?
Omang Kerjen.
Omang Kerjen. Yeah. I would suggest at this point probably. I want you to shift over from like doing revenue management on Jogja properties and try starting to do it on some Bali properties. Okay. So the ones in Jogja, just leave it the way it is, especially
Just put
since
the
it's
lowest.
yeah, just put the
price.
lowest price and just set that
And
all
then-
year long. Yeah.
And then set price for Lebaran, that's it.
Yeah, so essentially just 2 seasons. The reason why is because it's not focused, right? The owner's not focused, so why are we focused on this one? So let me do this for you. You're at Village Chantique right now, right?
Yes.
All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we set this up for Village Chantique? Let's go ahead and take a look on Squad 1 CRM. Okay, BB stats is very, very buggy right now. It's getting, yesterday we were above the target, today we're below the target. I don't know what's going on right now. Take a look at Chantique. Welcome in, Rizal.
Can you say?
All right. Rizal's the busy man. I haven't seen him stop since 2 a.m. yesterday. Okay. So, okay, let's take a look at this. And, ooh, interesting. What can we say about how Chantik is doing right now?
Good.
Right. Why is it good?
The booking pace is high, and also we already got a booking for April.
Yes, it's already gotten bookings all the way into April 2020. And the current monthly revenue is?
5,770.
Okay, in terms of weekly revenue, how much are we looking at for this week so far?
For this week is 273
Plus?
plus 899.
Right, so we made 273 in the...
Make it higher a little bit.
Right, okay. Here's, okay, make it higher. Here's a problem that we have right now. Does anybody see what the problem is?
Most of the booking coming for the upcoming one.
Right, so we have 2020. This is in November this year. This is in November too. And this is in November. Has anybody noticed that? November is really good this year.
Yeah.
Yeah? You've noticed that too. November is now not such a low season anymore. I'm beginning to see...
Beginning to high.
Yeah. It's becoming it's a little bit weird. I'm not sure what to make of this. It's like people are traveling outside of peak seasons and they're going after low seasons. Are flexible. You can still be at work even though you're in Bali. Right? I mean, who would want to do that? That's like kind of a punishment in a way. That's like working at Bukit Vista. Okay. Anyway, funny. So, but all right. So we see that these bookings are happening outside of November. All right, that's interesting. And let's see what else. This booking is made in February. Maybe we should set the price for December. Okay, let's go back and take a look at how Chantik is doing over here. So one of the things I'm trying to do right now, Alvin, is I'm trying to actually offload some of my Squad 1 duties to people like Dominic and Rizal and whoever else is available at the moment. And so on Squad 1 and
Sorry,
Squad 4.
Rizal.
Okay, let's take a look and see what we're doing here. On the Chantik calendar, so we're checking the calendar against the booking pace now. It's going to take a second to load this, but since we're waiting for that to load in top, let's go to Rizal. Rizal, if we're looking at this calendar,
Yeah.
where do we need to look first?
At the Stonehouse 2.
Stonehouse 2, yes, all right. Wyana, would you agree with Rizal?
Yes.
Why? In terms of performance?
Stonehouse 3.
Stonehouse 3, okay, all right, interesting. But is there one, I would argue there's something even more urgent than Stonehouse 3.
White.
What is it?
House.
White House 1. Right, okay, so the first one is Stonehouse 2, the second one is White House 1. Then, after that, Alvin?
Then the Stone 3.
Stonehouse 1.
No, I would say Stonehouse 1, the 16th over here. Put the dead body in the morgue. Okay, so you have to decide what you want to save, what you can't save. All right, so let's start with Stonehouse 2. Very good. So let's go over and mosey over to Stonehouse 2, not Stonehouse 1.
And then also festive rate for 23 December to 5 January.
Correct. So which rate are we on right now?
We are
Okay.
not.
So which rate is probably happening right now? If we don't see the rate on this table, what rate is actually being, right? In August, it's 650.
Booking for September.
Monitored.
Right. So this looks like it's actually a monitoring mistake. Okay. So that's why I need to offload this as quickly as possible to Dominic. Okay. So this, if it's monitored frequently, will not result in this mistake because we'll see that, it's kind of empty before and we'll be able to take the right action. But let's try to figure out what
No,
point.
he also monitored. His name, her name there.
I didn't see that. Lily's. Okay. Okay, let's see. This was 810 before. Ooh, problem here. What's the other problem is I don't know what this is for. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
September, October, red
But
for
there's
which room?
7 different, right, there's different rooms there. So this screenshot is not actually laying down screenshots before. I've been laying down screenshots. How's this screenshot? Is this screenshot effective or not effective?
Yes.
Okay. This is Stonehouse 1, right? This is Stonehouse 2. This is White House 2. This is White House 1. Like there's been no real price updates. Okay, so, can't find why, but here we are. So what action do we need to take, Cynthia?
Here, check the topic.
Okay, so we check the Toki, and Stonehouse 2 is mostly empty. So then we come up to here on the rates. What would you like to do with the rates, Cynthia?
Gonna change the rate to
Okay.
lower rate.
Okay,
Lower the rate.
let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and make sure that we change. Let's go to Wayana. Do you agree with Cynthia or do you disagree with Cynthia, or what's your thoughts?
I think for the because it's urgent, so we are not looking at the. Hey, wait,
Back. See you again.
Since it's urgent, we're not looking at the projection or like a target that we are aiming because it will be not really relevant.
Okay.
In this one, it will be like
could perform listing.
Do you want to put a lot of time to get it right? Like a projection is something you want to put in time to get it right because it's talking about 30 days, a month, a year worth of future bookings. But we're not talking about something that's going to go on for. You can go with a few different ways here, right? You can go with the really doesn't seem like it's even getting ranked. It doesn't even seem like it's getting anything. It's completely empty. So that compared to getting the right price is already better. If somebody is brought to you in triage, and like let's say for example somebody is brought into a hospital and they're bleeding all over the place. Well, maybe now is not the time to figure out why they're bleeding and how to fix that part. Maybe now is just the time to just wrap them up so they stop bleeding. And after they stop bleeding, then you can decide, okay, what is the best course? So once again, that's why we have revenue management. We want to manage this. This condition right now, I'd say, is pretty extremely bad. This is a case where it doesn't look like it's getting any future booking. It's not helping anybody, right? So if we're talking about just getting the number, is somewhat right, but not entirely accurate. So it's always a understanding of our resources too as well. If you had all day and this is all you did and you just nerd out on this, you could do a lot of analysis, then great, you can find the perfect thing. But as your rough answer versus a slow perfect best.
which one?
Yeah.
Thick House one.
Okay. Is Teak House One the same product as Stonehouse?
Different, sir.
Different, right? Okay, so then we have to kind of pick a price that's, we just have a few slots in your mind, right? So Teak House 1 seems to be doing really good, it has a lot of bookings. They're all very short, but it has a lot of bookings. Which other one is doing fairly well right now? Teak House 3. Okay, Teak House, White House 2, and then Stonehouse 2, and then Stonehouse 3. In terms of occupancy, those look like the ones. All right, so my next move is this. Let's go and take a look at which house first. Anybody know?
Stonehouse 1.
Stonehouse with the rate table and Alvin's like, what?
Pardon?
Why is this one is Stonehouse 1? Stonehouse 1 is doing better than Stonehouse 2, but it's priced higher than Stonehouse 2. So what's happening here? Here, let's go over to this side. I'll jump.
Are we talking about Villa Chantik?
Yeah, we're talking about revenue management on Villa Chantik right now. So, okay. Let's go. Actually, I'm going to ask Rizal to do a fact check for us in the meantime. Rizal's going to check if Stonehouse 1 and Stonehouse 2 are actually the same size and same capacity. But here's is empty after the 19th as well, right? And Stonehouse 2 is empty at this price. So maybe Stonehouse 1 just got a little bit lucky, actually, with the higher price. But for the rest of the month, at 650 is essentially dark. There's a lot of empty space. Okay, whatever it is, Stonehouse 2, even if it's, let's say, bigger or better than Stonehouse 1, what must we do with the price?
Adjusted.
We have to adjust it. Let's say Stonehouse 2 holds. This is a very common case, right? Let's say Stonehouse 2 has twice as much capacity as Stonehouse 1. It's a bigger unit. Okay? It's a bigger unit. Let's say it's even more luxurious. Let's say it's twice as good in terms of this Wayana thing. Change it. Okay, so this is a common issue that owners have, right? They go like, why did this one sell for cheaper than this one, even though it's twice as big? And the answer is, nobody wants it, right? So it doesn't matter what we offer. It really just only matters what the guests want to buy. So even if Stonehouse to go, actually I'm not even sure. Is this Stonehouse 2? Stonehouse 2, this is just hypothetical. Stonehouse 2 is bigger I know it's not, but let's just pretend for a moment it is. Stonehouse 2 is bigger. It's twice as nice. A month ago, we priced it 2 times more expensive. Stonehouse 1 was half the size and such. We priced it at 1/2 the price. But today, looking at this, would the price of Stonehouse 2 be the same or different? Okay. Let's pretend we have this case, right? Let's pretend you have a case where, okay? It was bigger, it was twice as big, it had twice as many rooms, and it was more capacity, so we priced it at 2 times more than Stonehouse 1 from a month ago, okay? But then today has happened, and we see this. We see that Stonehouse 2 is empty, Stonehouse 1 is full. So then, is that price that we priced a month ago still correct or not?
No.
It's not correct. It's incorrect. Right. Why is it incorrect? What has changed? Yes. Okay. So what has changed from the prediction that we made, let's say 2 months ago and today, is expiration, right? So let's say, for example, if you have caviar, okay? If you have caviar and it's fresh and it's ready to go, you can sell your caviar for probably 4 times more than you can sell for, like, I don't know, beef, right? If they're equally fresh, you can sell the caviar at the same price as fresh beef. But if your caviar is only 1 day before expiration, then do you think you can sell the caviar for the same price? No, right? So that's changed. So this is important to remember. This is really important to remember because a lot of owners come back to us and they say, why did you sell it for so cheap? And then the good answer is because it was about to expire, right? Because if I didn't sell it, then you would have gotten nothing. Make sense? So in these particular cases, that is the most important consideration from a revenue perspective. Not from this is twice as big, caviar is much more costly to produce. No, it's more from a revenue perspective. I was trying to protect the revenue from expiring. Okay, so when you take into account considerations of how to price, take that into account. It doesn't matter if it's a villa, a penthouse, the Castle of England. If it is 1 day before check-ins and it's empty, then the value of it is much, much lower than the value of it a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago that you thought it was worth, because it is just about to expire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I just want to once that makes sense, then it makes it very, very easy to prioritize and focus. You don't need, actually, like what Rizal just did, he went to check the size of it. You actually don't need to know the size of it, right? You don't need to know anything about it, really. You just need to know that the current price is not selling. And that if you want to get a sale, then it's really just up to whatever the last minute buyer will pay for it and whatever the owner will agree. Now, remember, the owners have agreed to revenue goals, right? So it's up to us to get to that revenue goal. The owners in the future will not care about the daily rentals. They are holding us accountable to the overall revenue performance. And so if you miss something like this, you're taking a huge hit on the revenue. You're getting a big zero. And so you could get 100, 100, 100, and then a 0, but then your average is like 100, 100, and 0 is like 200 divided by 3. It's 60. So that's like an A+, and then an F, right? So the way I see it, if you're consistent about revenue, try to always keep that revenue going. And in this particular case, we asked Rizal to figure it out, find which size is bigger. But also I'm saying that you don't need to necessarily know that information because it's not really that important at this point. It is like caviar. Sure, it was caviar 2 months ago, but tomorrow it's going to be trashed, right? So if I don't get this sold for you tomorrow, you're going to get nothing. So that is a common owner complaint, and I just wanted to address that so that we know essentially why we do what we do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone all clear on that? All right, so let's go back into the pricing thing. So we know it's 800. We know that we can't sell for 800, of course, because this won't sell. And then we can, I guess, take a look at the teak house. The teak house, let's see if we can figure out what the price is real quick. We'll zap in on that. It's selling for about $625, right? And we are currently selling the stone house for around $650, so it's about the same price. What number, Rizal, would you come up with for this fire sale?
500.
500? Okay. Alva, what number would you go for?
Around 550 to 560.
Okay. And let's go to Cynthia. What number would you sell?
550.
And Vito, you're part of this, right? Or, no. Oh, no, okay. Okay, great. Here. Okay, this is good. This is good. I want to also illustrate this point, guys, right? I want to illustrate this point. Do you know those games where you play, like, you know, guess how many candies are in a jar? Has anybody ever played that game before? So there's like a prize, right? They put like a bunch of candy in a jar, and people start giving estimates of how many candies are in the jar, right?
Yeah.
You guys know the idea. So like 800, and somebody will say something different. Guess what's really weird? If you get enough people to give a guess, the average will be pretty close to the truth. This is really weird, right? If you actually take a lot of surveys on everyone's guess, this is almost uncanny. If you ask everybody, all right, how much does this cow weigh? And somebody says it's 1,000 kilos. Somebody says it's 800 kilos. Somebody says it's 1,200 kilos. Somebody says it's blah, 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 blah. You take all that and you average it out, and it's generally around the truth, okay?
Okay, go back to the point.
Okay, so my point is this. If you really don't know, go around and ask everybody how much this is worth. That can be another really good tool. If you get, let's say, 5, 6 different people to like give it in, your average price, surprisingly, will be kind of close to what everybody will agree. So that's just a way of balancing out. If you're really confused and you don't know, you can go, hey Rizal, what would you sell this for? And Rizal says, oh, I don't know, like 600. Okay. Hey, how much is this worth? 400. Just take a few surveys, and that way you get a lower and upper boundary, and you can double check if your intuition is right. It's surprisingly accurate. It's surprisingly accurate. Not 100%, but it will get essentially part of it done. And the way that works is because each of our minds is essentially like a balancing machine. We're weighing the pros and the cons in our mind. And the balance is the price point. So Wayna is weighing it with what she knows, Josh is weighing what with he knows, I'm weighing it with what I know, Rizal's weighing with what he knows, and if you weigh it a lot of times, generally that will get an answer that's pretty right. All right, so we all agree it's around 500, it's just kind of like between 525 and 550, right? So let's take kind of like the average of that, so that's around 535. Sequence after that.
Should be the date until when you want to sell it.
Until October 31st, right? And we have another November rate. Okay? All right, well, maybe we can keep on going now, right? Are we expecting November is going to be better or worse than October? And we have some new evidence showing that November is good. What should we do about this date here? The end date. It's a decision, right? We have to make a decision. What do we do with that end date? Do we keep it or do we extend it all the way to November?
Keep it here.
Keep it. We're going to keep it because we're not sure. We're not sure if November is going to be better than October. Maybe it's going to be better. If it's better, then we undersold all our November inventory, and that would be a tragedy. We still have time. We still have quite a lot of time before November. Okay, so we'll go ahead and implement this. What do I do next? Let's go to Cynthia. What's the next step here? I'm going to save it first. Very good. Okay, so we'll save. And then the next step after that, Alvin? How do we report?
Screenshot the table.
Okay. That's why we sold it cheap,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so the MacBook Pro next time. I want everybody to open Toki and start giving me suggestions for each room. Alvin, I want you to give me suggestions for what we're going to do for Teak House 1 to 3. And then Cynthia, I want you to give us suggestions on what we should do for White House 1 and 2. And then Rizal, let's get suggestions, practice to do this, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll have supervised practice. And give me a rate for, oh, actually you can do Teak House as well, yeah? Let's see what your analysis is. Let's see what everybody's analysis will be.
I went there yesterday at the Chantik and
Yeah.
I had some discussion with Padre. It was about Stonehouse ownership. No, it's not empty, but as you said, it has bigger capacity. And he told me, is there any way to raise the price? But I told him we have to look for the occupancy first.
Yes.
If we're going to sell the price, we want to make sure that there will be bookings in the future.
Essentially if you don't have the price, what people always forget is that they have a price in their mind, and that's not a price. That's essentially a yes.
What would you suggest?
Okay, I need your suggestions for Teak House 1. How do you want to price Teak House 1? Do you want to raise it? The thing to remember is this too as well. So the truth about a property is that, how would I say this? if you're selling a product at a market, let's say for example you're selling a coffee pot, right? So this coffee pot is here in the store, and then you have another coffee pot. Pretend this is a coffee pot, and it's smaller. Okay? So this one's like a 2-time coffee pot to 1-time coffee pot. And then this should be sold for a higher price, right? Because it's bigger, it has more capacity. You're not selling this and this. You're selling essentially a how would I describe this? It's kind of like this stays in the store for as long as it needs to be there to get sold. But let's say, for example, you only have 2 days to sell this, right? And you have 15 days to sell this one.
That would reduce the price.
Right. If you don't have 2 days to sell that, then this is going to go away in 2 days. It's going to be worth zero. It's going to be compacted away. So yes, it should be more expensive, but there's only or whatever, right? Like there is no perishable inventory. That is the best way to describe it. Everything we have in the hotel is perishable inventory. It means we don't sell it. We'll never get it back. We'll never sell tomorrow again if it's empty. So I think that part is really important to keep in mind. You don't really have a price until somebody has bought it. If somebody has bought it, then yes, the price is real. But before somebody has bought it, it's just imagination. As you're getting closer to expiration, you get more realistic about what this is worth. Back to the caviar example. Now, if you want to raise the price, there's a lot of things you can do. You can make the experience more worthwhile. You can set different capacities. Changi is actually very well positioned for all different types of travelers. For groups that are small, groups that are big, and it's doing phenomenally well. But the problem is, I think, oftentimes people get so fixated on the price, they miss the bigger picture. As an owner, as an operational manager, look at your cash flow every week. Is your cash flow great, or is it not so great? If whatever price you set reduces cash flow, that's the wrong price. So we're going to record every action that we do, and then we monitor it. You see, when we change the price to then improve the cash flow, yeah, if it improved the cash flow, if it improved the weekly sales, that must have been the right price. Because that's what I would do, right? I'm sitting in a warm room, I make my things like a little bit cheaper, I get much more sales, and I get much more profit. But if I make it a little bit higher, it's the same coffee pot no matter what day it is. But a hotel is not the same hotel, depending on the day. On December 31st, New Year's Eve, that is worth a lot more than November 31st, a month before, when nobody's traveling. So, in the same way, what you're buying is you're not really buying a book, you're buying an experience. And that experience, the opportunity to live that experience, well, it's not the same every day. And the people who want it is not the same every day. So that's where a few days. If your day is a holiday or the same days as everybody else, yes, you guys are going to have to compete to see who gets that room. So the person who pays the most is going to get the biggest experience. Make that experience. So our goal is to get it up to 7,000. But we can't get to 7,000 on high prices. We can get to 7,000 on fair prices. So that's the end goal. You don't make more profit on a property until you've sold every single room, I've realized. If you're selling 30% of your rooms at a high price and you're leaving 70% of the room nights unavailable, that's not more money that they would want. Operations people also think a little bit different from owners. Generally, operations is like, unless they have an incentive from the total revenue, they prefer to invest in this. I really need to work, right? I still get paid a flat salary or something. But anyhow, hang on, we'll talk more about all this stuff. This is interesting stuff. We can see what the experiments show later and see what tones. Sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we underprice and, we could have gotten less than 3 days. So 80% over a year is excellent occupancy. Okay, all right, let's take a look at this. Let's go around and see what everybody did. Let's go to Alvin. Alvin, tell us about what decisions you made.
Okay, so basically I did check that from T-Cost 1 to T-Cost 3. T-Cost 1 and 3 have some short gap night in view of it.
Okay.
Based on my hunch.
For the gap nights, what do you want to sell them for?
For the gap night, I was thinking 495.
495. Wow. Okay, so that's quite a big difference. Why did you think 490 when we review back? Let's go over to Rizal. Rizal, what did you propose?
Also,
Okay.
okay, because the current price is 850,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the Stonehouse 3 is same with Stonehouse 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put. So you're working on White House, right? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and just okay. Rizal thinks 700. I tend to agree. It's a pretty large gap right now, and it is fairly urgent to get it sold. And if it gets sold, then we can add another about. Let's see. How many nights is that in the gap? How many nights are in the gap?
Week.
A week. So that will then push the overall revenue past 550, I guess, 5,500, which will be really nice. And globally, we want to make. Okay.
Projection.
All right. Let's talk this way then. Let's talk this way. Wouldn't it be great if we could get the same income as August in September? Wouldn't that be awesome? Right?
Yeah.
That would be pretty fucking amazing, right? Okay, so let's see how we're gonna get there. We're currently at 5,700. With Rizal's thing that we just pushed through, if he sells it, that will move it up another about $500, right? So a little bit less than $500, 5 million rupiah, so maybe about $350.
350.
Yeah, 350. So that will move it past $6,000.
Yeah.
Okay? So $6,000 on a September out of 7,200 on August, that's not so bad, right? And that's just one room, man. That's just pushing one room through. Now, all the other gaps, if we're able to push it through, then we can very well get to close to $7,000. And that's amazing. And if an owner comes back to me and says, blah, 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 I'll say, did you realize that we got the same amount of revenue in October as August? Then they'll be like, yeah, that's great. Maybe we underpriced in August, right?
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it can't be worse than August. It can't be worse. That can't be bad.
Yeah.
Good? Okay. So once we have a clear vision of what kind of revenue target we want to go for, then we have created more space to be more creative with the pricing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you have a clear goal in mind, you're not just pricing like a madman and giving discounts every way. You can go back to the owner and say, hey, look, I made you the same net revenue. Good? Yeah? On low season. Okay. All right. Let's examine over to Shinti.
For the White House one, we sell it 600 night. I will sell it as 550.
Okay.
And for the
Go ahead and put it in,
And for-
Shintia. Put those
okay.
rates in. Yeah.
okay, and then for the White House too, we sell it right now as 610,000,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm going to put price for 550.
Okay, fantastic. Put it in. Put it in. Go ahead and put all those in. Right. Let's go back to the journal picture. Now everybody's working on a different piece, right? So Rizal is working on his piece, Juana's working on his piece, I'm working on my piece. But let's talk about priority here. Who will have the greatest impact on actual revenue achievement? Which properties right now have the highest potential of getting us over the line past $7,000?
Stonehouse 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Stonehouse. So if we succeed with Stonehouse, we'll probably able to push that revenue over. And how do we know? Okay, let's take a look at it. So essentially, from now until October, it's gets you past that mark, right? Essentially, if you were able to sell these for $25, you would already hit your revenue target. Okay, so you don't need to sell for so cheap because, of course, this assumes something. What does this assume?
What assume?
What does this assume? Am I making a correct assumption? If I price at 25, I'm assuming that I'll sell all my nights, right?
Yes.
But you probably don't need to sell over. That's at 50. Okay, that's a little bit harder. We know that doesn't really work, right? Because we know that 650 doesn't really sell. So maybe we have to like change this to a little bit more generous. Maybe we'll sell 75% of those nights at $33. Okay? That sounds about reasonable. We can get like 70% occupancy if we give people a really good rate, right? So
500.
yeah, so that's about 500. So that kind of is your then target band rate. You're targeting what is a reasonable occupancy. Getting 100% at 25, that's too cheap. But maybe getting 75% at around $33, about 500, that's doable and that will still get you to your target. So this is a little bit of combined thinking from what Cynthia was saying before. Think about the end result, and then think about what your realistic occupancy can be, and then you can use that to determine your price, just like the way we did with the prediction yesterday. Yeah? Okay, if you have any prices, just go ahead and put them in, and please record all the results, and we'll come back tomorrow and see if the situation has improved, right? We're gonna take a look and see if the booking pace has gone up. We're gonna see if the calendar looks more full. We're gonna see if essentially we are doing more business, but only for October. Now, November we're keeping constant, and we're gonna let that ride, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we'll see you all back here tomorrow. Please push the rates that you have just put in. Remember, okay, let's make sure we remember everyone's beat, right? So we don't come back and be like, oh, what beat did I do? Rizal, which rates have you put in right now? So we're gonna look for improvements on Stonehouse 1 and 3. This is a group exercise. Hopefully, if you guys feel good at this, you can do my beat later and earn that 2.5 million extra base salary. Okay, all right, groups. So Rizal is doing Stonehouse 2 and 3. Okay, on this card so we can see them. And then Alvin, which ones are you doing? Teak House, right? 1, 2, and 3, or one? All 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's get. And Dominic, which ones did you want to do?
I think it's only Stonehouse 2 left, is there?
Yep, it's Stonehouse 2. Okay, Dominic, why don't you do one on Stonehouse 2? Oh, sorry, Dominic. Okay. All right, cool. Go ahead and plug all those things in. We'll run it for one day and see what happens, and then we'll build our confidence on what success looks like, right? You need to start thinking, well, what does actually success look like in this particular case? Success, let's say in the stone houses, would be more occupancy here, because it's really, really empty. Success in the teak houses would be getting those gap nights filled, right? And success on White House, I think most urgently, would be to sell the 15th to the 18th, and then the next block on White House 2 from the 19th to the 26th, right? That would be what success would look like. Okay, so once you visualize that, then you'll know if the impact is actually going to be worthwhile. And of course, you won't be able to see this tomorrow because maybe we'll sell some of these, so we'll have to record it. So I'll record that, okay? So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see if, it's like baking a cake, yeah? We'll see if the cake actually got baked tomorrow. Cool?
Cool.
All right.
Happy.
Okay, fantastic. Is this fun? This is like kind of a group riot.
Good riot.
All right, and that's revenue management for today. Okay, have a great day, everyone, and motion to dismiss this meeting. Okay, adjourn.
Yeah.
Adjourn.
So this meeting is recorded, right?
A what?
This meeting is recorded, right?
This meeting is recorded. Yes, Dominic.
Oh, okay then, because I missed some part of the.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll upload it as soon as this is over. Yeah. We'll.